Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever heard of beatboxing? Well, my next guest is so good at it, he's going to feature in the grand final of the UK Vauxhall Beatbox Championships 2011. Not just that, he's also a part-time lifeguard, an entrepreneur, and has set up his own business at the age of 16. He's 20 now, so that's 4 years ago. Daniel Sheehy, a.k.a. Drift, is with me right now. Hello there, how are you, Daniel?
You all right?
I'm okay. I'm a bit worried about you and your car. Apparently, because you saved someone the other day, your car keys were in your pocket. Was that right?
No, I've got an immobiliser as well, so it shot the key straight.
Oh, no. So where are you a lifeguard, can I ask?
Windsor Edge Centre.
Oh, okay. It's just... Yeah, I used to do it myself, so many years ago, a long time ago, so, but I didn't have my car keys in my pocket. That's really bad news, isn't it? So you are a man of many tasks here, but let's go back to the basics. Effectively, what is beatboxing?
Basically, it's imitating drum patterns, music, any kind of noise and sound you can hear that you like, you think, well, I might put that into a beat, I might put that into a tune. You just listen and take the rhythms, and it's all about imitating music the best you can.
Okay, so I think sort of people may have seen it or heard it, but basically it's almost like doing everything all at once with your voice, isn't it?
Yeah.
And funnily enough, the presenter before me, Bill, one of the things, he was set a challenge each week on a previous show he used to do. One of the things he had to learn was beatbox.
Oh, yeah.
And he said actually it's quite tricky because you have to keep the music going. So you're almost like you're humming, but at the same time then adding the noises on top. Is that effectively what you're doing? Yeah.
I mean, there's a very strong sense of raw talent that comes into it, but you can definitely be taught, and you can definitely learn beatboxing over time. When I first started, I wasn't that good, but in time I've got a lot better. We're
going to hear it in just a moment, but just interestingly, it's a bit like playing... the first thing I thought of when he was showing me how to do it, and you're an expert, so you're really going to show me how to do it, but it reminded me of playing the didgeridoo, where you had to sort of keep breathing all the time. I mean, I imagine, given the fact you're a lifeguard, the swimming helps, because you've got lungs like a...
I mean, well, the secret trick that I have is that some of the sounds that I make are actually inwards, so I'm breathing while I do it, so most beatboxers do the same thing, you just keep going.
Right, okay, so that's great. It's a bit like when you're... I learned this because I had to do the Reading Half Marathon, but there is a point where you start running where actually you can run at a speed where you can get your breath back, and I imagine a bit like that, you find points where you can learn to breathe.
Well, there's a sound that's like a rim shot for a snare that goes like that, which I'm breathing in, and I get a nice big breath when I do that, and I can fit that into a beat where I'm going... I can just keep going and going with that.
That was so good, can I just say? That really was. I love the fact that it's all happening in June, isn't it, when the Beatbox Championships take place. And I love the fact that not only is it at the O2 Academy in Islington, but the host is Stig of the Dump. Yeah,
he's a very, very good guy. He's basically he's one of the champions at freestyle rapping. So he just what he comes up with in the top of his head, I don't even understand how.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, anyway, he deserves everything with a name like Stig of the Dump, which was a good book. Now, tell us why you got into beatboxing. You said you tried a few years ago. Was it one of those things where you just sort of bumped into it, or you always fancied having a go?
Well, basically, I saw on my mate Jake's Facebook, Bebo even, sorry, it was that long ago. I saw a video of some guy beatboxing, and I thought to myself, I've been making sounds and silly little noises and drumming on the desk and making beat patterns for so long, I reckon I could do that. So I imitated it, copied it, put some videos up, and I realised that actually people were liking what I do. So I carried on with it and just kept going.
And we'll talk about the fact that, not only at the tender age of sort of 16 you were beatboxing, but you're also setting up your own company as well. So we'll talk entrepreneurialism in just a moment. But first, I've got to hear you in action there. You already given us a little bit of a hint, but give us sort of in about, 40 seconds, whatever it is, a rough idea of what you're going to be doing on the night at this championship.
All right. If I wrote you a symphony, how much you be? Would you if I me you a
Wow, that was really quite something. That really was. Do you know what? I was watching you, and it's amazing to watch. But actually, I thought the best thing to do was actually close my eyes.
Yeah.
And it really does work. That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And is it one of those things where you learn techniques all the time and you're adding bits to it? I mean, so by the time you get to June, you'll be adding a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm always adding sounds, and whenever I'm walking down the street and I hear something, I suddenly just think to myself, oh, I need that. So there's, things like that always adding to beatboxing.
You've got a nice voice as well.
Thank you.
So yeah, you ought to work on that one.
I am doing an album actually at the moment.
Oh well, there you are. You see, so plenty of practice. How much are you practicing each day?
With singing and beatboxing hours, it's probably 3, 4 hours, 5 hours a day if I'm not at the studio.
Crikey. Well, so you really are busy. Part-time life guy, part-time because you're so busy doing everything else. And tell me about setting up your own company at 16, which, again, must have been unusual. You were at school, were you?
Yeah. Basically, I spent 1 year at St. Bernard's in Slough. Didn't really pick the subjects I wanted to do, so I went into business. Went into another sixth form where I studied business, and at the same time, I set up a 16-plus party business called Filthy Rich Parties. From there, I started off at Winkers in Chalfont, doing just one night every 6 to 8 weeks in the half term. And from there, I went to Liquid Uxbridge, Liquid Windsor. I've been True in Camberley, Dusk in Guildford, Quake in Woking, Chameleon in Woking. I've got a new night coming up in Sugar in Wokingham. I'm trying to hit the events as much as I can at the moment.
Lord Sugar will be proud of you. And also, you mentioned schooling there, but you're dyslexic. How did that affect your schooling, and how does it affect you day to day? Given the fact you've got so much paperwork with running your own business and nothing else.
It's been a weird one because at school, at GCSEs, I actually got a B in English, and it wasn't too bad, but I knew that it was always on my mind. But I always put as much effort into everything I've done, if you know what I mean. So now I'm a singer-songwriter as well. And as a dyslexic singer-songwriter, it takes longer to write a song, but I find that it's not really anything that's holding me back. You know what I mean? The name dyslexia is just a tag.
Yes. I mean, and just how does it affect you? Is it occasionally you look at a word and it just doesn't make sense to you? Or
and also, numbers, sometimes 3s and 4s I get.
Well, if you sign a contract for 43 million, just make sure it's 43, not 34, okay? Because that would just be so annoying if you missed out on 9 million quid. It really would. All right, so we're going to be cheering you on then. The championship then happens on June the 11th.
Yeah, the Vauxhall UK Beatbox Championships.
Okay, and Sting of the Dump is the host, always good, and you're going to win. So it's as simple as that. No pressure. Will you come back and have a chat to us once you've won?
Definitely.
Can't wait. Daniel, thank you very much indeed.
BBC Radio Berkshire. Berkshire News and Berkshire Stories with Phill Kennedy.